What's up, everybody? It's your boy Ryan, and this is the Thunder Channel on Nootropics. Thanks for being with me. Let's talk about Fasoracetam, using it effectively. I kind of want to discuss like all the ways that I have personally used it, or as many ways as I can, and then also ways that I've used it with clients and how that's benefited them, and then ways you could use it as well. There's so much because it's a very multifaceted compound in terms of what it can be used for. In the meantime, what supports this broadcast is Epic Nootropic products. Number one, the Cortex stack. Look, I took Cortex about an hour and a half ago, and I've done some stuff like in between then and now, but my verbal fluency and my mental energy and my will to work and my productive drive is through the roof. It's part of why I'm doing this video. I've been meaning, this is on my list of things to do. I'm like, I need to do a video. I want to. The Cortex stack does that kind of stuff for you. It just sort of turns everything on, especially motivation, but especially verbal fluency. I might be a little more verbally fluent than normal in this broadcast. Either buy it singularly or do auto ship. Auto ship is where you can get it for $27.99, which is cheaper than the original price, by just having it shipped to your doorstep monthly. You do it once. It's a one-time setup process. It takes about a minute or so, and then it just auto charges you $27.99 a month and then ships to you every month at the same time. Do that at livecortex.com. If you're a business person that, like we talked about yesterday, is in need of hardcore serious stacks that are targeted toward business people, go buy a nootropic stack for the business professional. Larger scale than that, like if you really want hardcore work, work with me for 6 months, or work with me for 3 months. Choice is yours. We get a lot done in both of them. Obviously, 6 months gives you more time. If you are new to Nootropics, this is really where you have to start right here. Nootropics Ground Zero. It's a video course that I created for people that are new, showing you the ropes, giving you stacks, giving you a framework for how to properly use Nootropics. You'll save years of research and experimentation just getting that video course, and it's yours truly in the video course. It's actually really cool. VTP for guys that want to race test. Don't sleep on it, sirs. Have a beard like that guy. Okay, and all the rest of our nootropic products you can find at livecortex.com. Okay, so Fasoracetam, let's get back to that graphic. That's the only graphic I can find. We don't have an affiliation with Nootropics Depot, but personally that's where I get my Fasoracetam from. I have seen it used for and be effective for a wide range of things, including in a regimen of things that you're using to kick a booze habit. Okay, why would this work? Because it's relaxing you, but particularly attempting to, over time, create some more GABA B receptors. And some literature suggests attempting to upregulate GABA B receptor functionality throughout the brain. There's many different regions. In that case, in the case of alcoholism and in the case of anxiety disorders, we all know that there's an obvious GABA glutamate imbalance where glutamate is firing excessively. GABA is not firing much at all or the way that it's supposed to be. GABA is the major inhibitory process in your brain, right? When it comes to anxiety or excessive sort of runaway train thoughts, GABA would in the right quantities and the right signaling would stop that from happening. It would stop you from having excessive thinking. I have seen it be a useful sleep aid, 20 to 40 milligrams before going to bed. I've seen it help people induce sleep and stay asleep, particularly people that are waking up at 4 or 5 in the morning with anxiety. All right, that's a critical takeaway for people. I have seen it be a mood stabilizer, I've seen Fasoracetam in 20 to 40 milligrams. I guess the scale is really relative to the person on where they're at. People can go up to 60 to 80 in this particular case of having just sort of a really imbalanced mood most of the day. I've seen it provide a degree of alleviation that makes it significantly worth it for people, So if you're in not necessarily in an angry or terrible mood, but that being one of the reasons maybe you should take Fasoracetam, but just not necessarily in like a really, really great mood, Fasoracetam can aid in helping you to be in a better state, to be in a better, more synthesized, positive place. I have seen Fasoracetam be extremely effective in people that are coming off of benzos. Not saying this is a medical suggestion, as I'd probably get in trouble for that, but I have seen people that are getting off of benzos, and as they slowly wean off of benzos, including Fasoracetam, usually in higher doses, 40 to 60 milligrams, in the daily regimen, and then helping them wean off of benzos, and then when they're finally ready to pull the plug completely, once they've gotten to a really, really low dose, having Fasoracetam in the mix with some other compounds has been really, really useful in helping them regulate their sort of post-benzo brain and not want to go back to taking benzodiazepines. CBD, etc., is in the mix usually too with a lot of folks. If people are working on the restoration side, dihexa has been a chemical that I've seen be really effective for that. We're talking about a regimen with Fasoracetam is usually in it. What I think the most exciting thing as it relates to me, because it's relevant to me, use for Fasoracetam has been using it in conjunction with stimulatory stacks. So there's this principle of balancers, okay? Balancers in the world of nootropics. And a balancer simply describes a chemical compound, nootropic usually, that is tranquility-inducing in nature, that balances the stimulation of a stimulant-esque, excitatory neurotransmitter fostering nootropic compound, like any of the choline-modifying chemicals that are out there, are excitatory, they're stimulatory, even modafinil. Having a balancer in the mix that is on the tranquility side does not take away from your positive effects of the stimulant agent in the stock, but adds a really nice smooth balance. In the end, flow states, I feel like I'm in a flow state right now. That's cortex though. Flow states are characterized by that fast brain function, intense brain function, a well-processing brain, but at the same time, background smoothness and relaxation. Like you're fast, but you're calm at the same time. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. That's an army term. I've seen Fasoracetam, that is the best application for me. Fasoracetam. It's like, taking a stack of like 100 milligrams of modafinil or something, and maybe some dynamine and some theobromine, but then that's a really stimulant stack, right? For me, having Fasoracetam in the mix of 40 milligrams, 60 milligrams balances that out so that I can actually get the benefit of that higher dose modafinil or higher dose dynamine, theobromine, stimulant-esque stack, like on the processing side and the motivation side, but it doesn't make me to the point where I can't focus, because overstimulation always leads to an inability for me to focus. A flow state is necessary. Achieving a flow state, just that alone, using Fasoracetam for. It's an incredibly useful tool in achieving a flow state. And again, that's usually characterized by good functioning brain, but something slowing you down at the same time. Meditation and artistic behavior. So it's extremely useful for just meditation. If you took 20 milligrams, that's really all a lot of folks would need to sit down and meditate. Waited 25, 30 minutes for it to onset, and then you meditated, it would be an easier process to enter the sort of flow state of meditation once you've cleared your brain. Because essentially what is helping you to clear the brain while meditating is getting some GABA regulation in the mix. And otherwise, throughout the course of your day, what helps you clear your brain is GABA, right? It's GABA inhibiting the excitatory neurotransmitters that are making your brain crazy to begin with. So extremely useful for meditation. Artistic behavior requires flow states. It requires you being in a flow state. It requires you being relaxed. Artistic behavior requires the brain to be moving quickly, but having a background smooth, calm element of it as well. That's what being artistic requires. That's what you need to have when you're being artistic, right? So Fasoracetam in conjunction with a stimulant, agent or stack is extremely useful for that. By the same token, doing things like long blog posts, which is something I don't really do a whole lot anymore, but I used to. So I had to study the nootropics that worked best for me and figure out what works best for people in that capacity. Having something in the mix like Alcar and another cholinergic, like let's just call it Alcar, uridine, low dose, 150 milligrams, citicoline, low dose, 50 to 80 milligrams, but then 20 to 40 milligrams Fasoracetam in the mix, you can write for an hour straight. It should set you up to be able to write pretty consistently and be in that great place to do it. Because what do you need to write, right? You need the cholinergic side, which is processing, synthesizing stuff from your brain into the written word. But you also need to be chill and relaxed. And creativity has to go into it, unless you're one of those, unless you're okay with being a bland writer. I mean, what differentiates your writing from other things? An artistic, creative undertone of it. That's what'll do that. And Fasoracetam is extremely useful for that. So those are the major effective uses for Fasoracetam. It sort of runs the gamut. It is multifaceted. It just isn't just take some Fasoracetam and relax, or take some Fasoracetam and, you'll be able to go to sleep. It's all that and more, right? It can facilitate flow states. It can put you in a place where meditation is easier. It can put you in a place where writing is easier. It can help you in weaning off of like some of the hardcore GABA A, GABA B, or benzodiazepine agonist drugs that are out there. It can substantially help you to get off of them, and in the post-benzo state, keep your brain regulated. If you're a person that typically has a runaway brain, which I think some of us to an extent, like all of us to an extent, do sometimes, Fasoracetam is extremely useful in aiding in the process of relieving that, because what's happening is you're not able to control some of this other neurotransmission that's excitatory that's happening. Acetylcholine, dopamine, just two examples. Glutamate, big example. You're not able to control that. The only neurotransmitter that allows you to control that is GABA. And Fasoracetam is working not exclusively, but pretty heavily on GABA B and the sort of GABA system regulation. Okay. Dose range is really hard to tell. 20 to 40 milligrams is a sweet spot for most folks. I mean, there are people that add 10 milligrams of Fasoracetam powder in a capsule to their stimulatory stacks, and that works for them on that whole balancer thing. Oh, that's another important thing. Balancers, right? Have a stimulatory stack, but have Fasoracetam or a tranquility nootropic in the mix. It just sort of makes the stack better and allows you to enter flow states effectively. But the doses run the gamut. I mean, I know people that for artistic purposes require like 60 milligrams of it in conjunction with an otherwise stimulant and processing centered set of compounds. Okay, so I hope you've been able to take a lot from this. Again, super versatile compound, been around for many, many years. I think any nootropics enthusiast or psychonaut should have Fasoracetam around, anyone that's really, truly into it, because it's useful in all of these ways. And probably more. I mean, there's probably more that I didn't mention, but those are the primary ones. Hard to say whether or not you should get powder or capsules. I mean, I always think go with powder first, because then you can manipulate your doses to the specificity that you need to or feel like you want to. But I've also been on the other end where taking, having 20 milligram capsules, like Depot makes it so easy because they just make them that way, is fine too, right? 20 milligrams with your stimulatory stack, 40 milligrams with meditation, 40 milligrams before bed. It's just sort of easy and you don't have to capsule anything. That's the benefit of capsules. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. It's been awesome talking with you. Go support the broadcast at livecortex.com. Get some Cortex. If you think I've been verbally fluent, there's your reason. It is a powerful, powerful verbal fluency stack. But not only that, it makes you want to do work you don't want to do. It makes you want to do things that you want to do but can't get yourself to do. It's just very, very powerful. You can either buy it singularly at livecortex.com or do auto ship, which gets you Cortex cheaper and shipped to your doorstep on a schedule every month without you having to do anything. It is so simple and so easy. Those of you that get Cortex, go do it. If you want to support us, just go get a monthly subscription to Cortex. It is awesome to have in the arsenal. Ground zero, if you are new to nootropics, you got to get that video course and you've got to watch it and you have to study it. It will ascend you years into your research and experimentation. It's very useful. VGP for men. If you want to have a beard like that, guys. I'm just joking with you. It's actually a very awesome program, and I like working with guys and doing it because there's few things more satisfying to me than helping a guy raise the one hormone that's going to make him live longer and feel like a man. If you're a young male business person, entrepreneur or corporate, or middle-aged male business person, entrepreneur or corporate, and you either need to perform at 150% or more, or you are performing really well, but you want to explore what that next level is, but you also sort of want help with somebody who does this for a living and for a hobby in formulating highly, highly effective combinations of both nootropics and otherwise performance-enhancing nutraceuticals on in a very meticulous way, on a scheduled way. Get either the 3.5 month or the 6 month intensive. I mean, these are working with me. If you're compliant and do the work and give me feedback, it will change your productivity. It will absolutely change the way that your brain works, and you'll never want to go back after that point. And the great news is you don't have to, because after working with me for any of these periods, you're left with a roster of strategies to improve brain performance on cue. Either 3.5 months or 6 months. If you have the budget, go for 6 months. If you have the budget, we also have a year consult. I'm not sure if that's on here. Okay, it is. Do the whole year. If you've got the budget, it's absolutely worth it in terms of brain performance and what we can achieve. Do all that stuff at livecortex.com. Thank you so much for watching. The guy who gave me the tip on changing the gain on my audio and doing some compressor work, thank you so much. I think this should sound better than the last video. I'm really just trying to nail down this mic. I like having a mic. It's actually pretty cool. I look like a podcaster, man. Thanks for the tip, dude. Still working on it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Talk to you soon.